Minutes after 6 bells, and here we are once again on Living the Run. The heat is epic. The heat was epic this weekend, Paul Terek. The cars are out. 4th of July is on us. People are stoked already about missing work tomorrow. Good stuff here on Living the Run. Health and fitness at its greatest. First thing we got to say right off the bat, dehydration, avoid it like the plague, folks. Get some water bottles as you hit this 4th of July.
Dehydration is no joke. I can attest to this personally. Remember, I think I told you last year when I was sick and tired, overworked a little bit.
You called me.
The biggest dehydration problem, passing out. at least for me.
Don't do it. Rex Stevens here in studio with Olympian Paul Terek. We're living the run as we do every Wednesday here from 6 to 7 on ESPN 1280 The Ticket. Good show here tonight, Paul. We were supposed to have one of the Central Coast favorites, one of the greatest runners that's ever run on the Central Coast here, Jordan Hasay. She's come and lived the run with us several times. Just finished her collegiate career there at University of Oregon. Just took second place at U.S. Nationals there in Iowa in the 10K. Ran a really gutsy, strong race. Heading into now a professional career. We're going to check in with Jordan. But honestly, I get this text from her today. She says, is there any way that we can do next week? I got a hamstring issue, and the trainer's coming between 6 and 7. So hamstring.
That would be an interesting interview. It's like, I had a great, my race was good. Yeah.
As the treatment goes, she literally got hamstrung, I guess we could say, and she's going to be coming in with us
Did you
next
just
week.
Use that pun? She's hamstringing us. Did you use that pun on the air?
She is hamstringing us, but not to worry. Couple guests as always. Virginia going to talk 4th of July blunders that people make in the diet, some simple ways to get out of that. Ryan Joyner's going to give us actually a quick little workout. So stay with us end of the hour. Ryan Joyner's going to put together a quick little workout for you for the 4th of July so that you can say, hey, I did something before maybe I splurged into some of those foods that we don't generally eat.
Well, I think number one in that 4th of July workout is don't get severely inebriated. I mean, that's going to be like the number one beginning to it is don't start the day completely past your limit by 9 a.m. That's going to be the big one.
That's good advice.
Because if you do that,
coming from an Olympian,
you have no chance the rest of the. No, I don't drink myself, but I can assure you that friends of mine that end up in that state by 9 a.m. have never completed a workout, with the exception of Dean Karnazes.
Yeah.
But have never completed a workout after that. It's just if 9 a.m. comes and you're already seeing pink elephants and
Dean's a rarity. I was talking to somebody today about him. They talked about reading the book Born to Run. So many people have read that book, been inspired by that book. Often people give credit to that being the book that spawned some of this barefoot running, Vibrams, etc. I know a lot of our listeners have tried some of those, some with more success than others, and they're kind of messing around with some of these different shoes today. But Dean, his first book I like the best, Ultra Marathon Man, and the subtitle's the best of that book, Confessions of a Nighttime Runner. And you're right, he started, he got blasted in San Francisco bar or something. You said he was drunk on his birthday, I think.
Birthday or something,
yeah.
And then just got this idea, what am I doing in life or whatever, and I'm running to Monterey or Santa Cruz, wherever he ran to.
Well, I just sent Dean an email today. We'll see when he responds. It'd be great to have Dean back on the show. He's been on the show several times here. Again, came as a guest for the slow marathon this last April. And I don't know, we're talking about heat here in slow, and we're not really used to heat here in slow, but Death Valley is usually used to heat. Even Death Valley is hitting temperatures that it hasn't hit. And if you remember, Dean told us the last time he was on the show that his goal is to get back to running, get back to being competitive, and he was going to do that at Badwater this year, starting in Death Valley. They end at Mount Whitney. But I'm telling you, Paul, they said that they're at 129 yesterday, temperatures. They're going in a couple of weeks to start that race. Things are going to change. I mean, last year I think he said they were in the one high teens, maybe 117, 116. You start getting into the high 120s, things are how are you out there for 133 miles? These guys are epic. I'd love to talk to Dean about this.
Rex, you got to remember, it's a dry heat. It's a dry heat. Everybody's. I love that. So speaking of that, we were back in Missouri. The wife and I went back, visited some family.
Not dry.
Dude,
not dry.
It is not dry, and I am complete. I was from Michigan. Granted, Michigan's not Missouri. Missouri gets a little hotter, but Michigan gets their share of 100, 105, 108 degree days with 90% humidity. It feels like, and I felt like I had a range of temperature acclimation. We'll say, competed in Baton Rouge in the middle of June, my senior year of college, and I went back to Missouri after not having been there for a few years, and I can't do it anymore. I just can't do it. Like, it was amazing to go back and it was like walking around was hard for me. That was my workout. Like, we went to Walmart and my workout was like to walk inside. And
you come out soaking wet.
Yeah.
It's kind of a stunning thing. When you live out there, I lived in Georgia, I lived in Texas, and you walk. The contrast is so great. It's 110 out, or you get 98% humidity. You walk in these places with just straight air conditioning, and of course, in San Luis, almost nobody has air conditioning. So the contrast is dramatic, and it almost just doesn't make you feel good.
It's almost like a sauna to an ice bath back to a sauna. Yeah,
yeah.
Your body's in shock. Maybe that's good for you. Maybe your body starts cleaning things out. I don't know.
Well, I tell you, I gave an effort at this with the thought that we were going to get Dean Karnazes on in the next couple of weeks, and I went out at 11:30 on Saturday. I live out by the airport. I took off from around that region, and my goal was to be out there. My goal was to end up in Avila. And so I thought it would probably take 2 to 3 hours for me to do that. I was going to stop at Johnson Ranch along the way. I got going. And
the route here, what's the route?
The route was basically, from my house up Buckley, go Buckley all the way out to South Higuera out to Johnson Ranch. I ran Johnson Ranch, then came out and then hit Ontario, which is the frontage road to Avila. And I tell you, Paul, that's where it got real hot. It got smoking hot back in that little section there, and I ran out of water and I called my wife and said, I'm not going to make – I was still, 4 or 5 miles from the nearest spot where I could get fluids. But here's the thing that went in my mind. That was a minuscule run. First of all, 20 degrees to 30 degrees lower temperatures than what those guys are going to be doing at Badwater. Then I went for 2 hours. I ended up being out there for 2 hours. A good runner, top 10 last year, was just under 30 hours. So these guys are out there 15 times as long. And
probably running just as fast as you were running for most
probably faster, what I covered was about 13 miles, so they're going 133. So 1/10 of what they did. And I'm telling you, it's absolutely remarkable, the mental aspect of what those guys are doing, the physical aspect of it. It's really not even fathomable. I tried to make it somewhat similar to just at least feel some of the conditions, but those conditions aren't even 129, Paul, in Death Valley.
You tried to delusionalize yourself into believing you were an ultramarathoner by going 13 miles.
Yeah, I have no delusions.
You should have left the part out that you called your wife, because now it's like every time something happens, like, did you call your wife Rex? Going gets tough. Rex calls his wife.
Well, I tell you, we got another guest coming on a little bit later here on Living the Run. ESPN 12A The Ticket. Good story. I ran by this guy on Tuesday of last week.
You heckled this guy.
And I did. I heckled him. I didn't know what was going on. All I can tell you is he didn't look great when I saw him. He was still moving forward, steps forward, probably much like we would look like if we tried to do Badwater, but we would only do it 10 miles in. We would look like him. It's a good story. It's a fun story. This guy lives the run. And what he does that's great, what makes this story good also is what we try to do on our birthdays. We always try to do something fun on our birthdays, taking that number, whatever it is, making something fun exercise-wise to the number. That's what he did. And so we'll talk to him at about half past the hour. But good stuff here on Living the Run. Hey, I want to say this, Paul. I wonder if anybody is noticing around here, we have an elite runner. And again, the show's not all about running. It's about fitness. But I want to show that here was a collegiate runner who now 7 years out of his collegiate career, steeplechase guy, 5,000 guy, is running very, very fast. Jamison Mora, I don't know if you've been seeing his times. We'll try to get him here on the show. He ran down in San Diego a 1:04 half marathon, and he just went 2:15 in Minnesota. He's getting faster. He's faster than he ever was in college. He's putting this thing together, and he's having a lot of fun. And one of the things I thought great, I talked to his wife briefly. She said, he's as happy and as balanced as he's ever been. He's got one young child. He's got another on the way. And here it is. We talk about this on Living the Run all the time, is how do you balance yourself both mentally and physically to get the most out of you? This guy is killing it out there in the speed world, but he's killing it in his balance of his psych-social as well, keeping the stress down. It's a great story.
Yeah, the balance, we talk about it and we make mention to it. We should probably devote an entire show to it, just how to balance things, because there's a huge effect when one part of your life is out of balance. It affects everything else. You can't just say, all right, that was the hardest part about being an elite athlete, was if something wasn't going right in your personal life, being able to leave that at home. And now that I've stepped away from that and I'm doing the real life thing, I have a job, I have a family, we have house, all these things. I realize how hard, as an athlete, it was easier for me because my main focus was just training, and that was pretty much it. Now I'm married with all these other responsibilities. I realize, all the people I made fun of and laughed at and said, it's not a big deal. It's hard. It's very hard to make sure you get the proper amount of time either with your significant other or with your children, or making sure you're focusing on your job. So finding that balance is really key to success in your workout. You can't just say, I'm just going to work out. I'm going to go in, put in some time and be done with it. You really have to work on finding that balance.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. This guy, for whatever reason, he seems unnoticed. I think a lot of the reason is because he's entering elite races, but I don't think people realize he's a guy who's training right here in SLO, and he's killing it. And he's running with big guys, and they're running for money. I mean, this isn't just enter a race for some fun.
This isn't like a local turkey trot.
No, I mean, look at those times: 104 in the half. 2:15 in the full, cranking it out there, and props to him for keeping balance in the life. I think a lot of times, so many of the triathletes, so many of the endurance athletes, it's one of the hardest things because so much time needs to be spent on the bike, so much time needs to be spent in the pool or running. And for you too, you're a decathlete. You had so many different aspects of having to work on different things. It can be all consuming and kind of get to you.
Well, you just tend to get mixed up with it. Where am I investing my time? Where am I getting the most for my my investment? But that's a common thing. Just about running or working out, or not just about running or working out, but we talk about it in eating. You can't just eat one thing. You talk about it in surfing. That's like one of the big things that if you get right down to it, the whole spirituality behind it is balance with nature. And you look at Japanese when they do their stretching and their moves, that's their whole thing is balance. That when you go to like a chiropractor or a massage therapist in Japan, they don't go, oh, does your left arm hurt? I'm going to work on your left arm. They look at your whole body and say, okay, where are you out of balance? And they find these places, and it's like, oh, okay, that does feel a lot better. It was one of these things where I had a shoulder issue when I was over there. My shoulder's bothering me a little bit, and the guy starts looking at my back and my legs, and he really spent like minimal time up by my left shoulder. But when I walked away, it was like, oh man, I feel pretty good.
I love that. Hey, speaking of food, Virginia Vert Foods coming on. She always does with us. And hey, Virginia, Olympian Paul Terek gave his advice, and his advice was basically, don't be inebriated by 9 a.m. Anything better the average person could do tomorrow to maximize their meals, maximize their food, maximize the inflammation, and ultimately maximize their Friday? Because we're not necessarily talking so much about Thursday, but we're talking about what are we going to wake up feeling like on Friday? Give us some gems.
Well, we all live the run differently. The day you were doing your Johnson Ranch run, I was in the kitchen, and my kitchen did, in fact, hit 129 degrees. So one of the things I noticed about dehydration and what Paul was talking about and it not being pleasant is as we get dehydrated, we actually become less interested in water. I don't know the physical reasons. You might know why. It has something to do with serotonin. People actually stop reaching for the water and stop drinking for it. So we have to make it a little bit more interesting. I don't want people, grabbing stuff with corn syrup and sugar, which is just going to create toxins and increase your dehydration more. But there are ways that we can hydrate. Add some citrus and orange juice, maybe some raw honey, maybe put some fruit in our water. Target, REI, they all have these great water bottles now that have internal filters that you can put fresh fruit in, and it actually makes the water taste like strawberries or blueberries, and it's just fun for the kids. If you're in a place where you can make smoothies with coconut milk and fresh fruit or coconut water. That's just a great, simple way to get hydrated. The other big issue besides dehydration is hot dogs. And I don't want to make a big deal if you guys are going to be eating hot dogs, but go with the nitrate-free hot dogs. Hot dogs are pretty toxic, so there's some better choices for the grill. Reach out the salmon, the chicken. And my biggest hint is keep your skin on. It protects the meat from any of the toxins that might be in that charcoal. So really do keep the skin on. If you don't want the skin, take it off after you've done your barbecue. And then please don't use lighter fluid.
Hey, great tips. What's going on for Foods? Changing up the menu a little bit, adding some new things. How can people get involved?
Yeah, you know what? We change the menu every 2 weeks. We go in season with the farmers. The farmers got hit hard right now with this heat. So we do have some great summer items, melons. So we do fun stuff like add melons to quinoa and teach people how to sort of get some raw, fresh fruits during this summer season. They can just look us up on vertfoods.com, and they can see our menu, and we just provide the meals ready for you to eat. In fact, we've got a July 4th picnic basket that we're still taking orders for. So.
Awesome stuff. Thanks so much for joining us. Happy 4th of July to you and your family as well. Talk to you next week.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks, Rick.
All right. Good stuff as always from Virginia. You know, how did that happen, Paul? How did 4th of July become synonymous with hot dogs?
Well, it's like the American thing, you know, just that's a hot dog. I have no idea. I really don't.
That's the American thing. Eat toxic white bread with toxic nitrate-infested beef.
Yeah, that sounds good. My mouth is watering at this point. That sounds good.
Hey, stick with us. Good interview next. Local favorite. Find out what he did on his birthday, why I heckled him, and why his wife looked like she was running faster than him at the time. More on Living the Run. Stick with us.
You're listening to Living the Run on ESPN Radio 1280 The Ticket.
Hey guys, Paul Terek from Living the Run here. As a former Olympian, there is only one place myself and fellow athletes go when it comes to chiropractic care on the Central Coast. With 4 chiropractors in the clinic, Slow Wellness Center is the largest, most comprehensive group of docs in San Luis Obispo County. I began seeing Dr. Rex Stevens back in 2005 for spinal adjustments to help maximize my performance, minimize my injury, and allow me to compete at my best. When the difference between a win and a loss can be just a fraction of an inch, perfect alignment in all joints is essential. One of the great things about the team at Slow Wellness is no matter where I had an issue, whether it was my spine, my foot, knee, wrist, or shoulder, they were always able to help. This team, made up of Dr. Rex and Molly Stevens, Dr. Sachs, and Dr. Bandolo, is sure to help you reach your health and fitness goals too. If it's chiropractic care you need, go where I go, Slow Wellness Center. Check them out at slowwellness.com or call 543-8688.
Folks, when it comes to the health of my teeth, I will not compromise, and neither should you. It's time you go where my wife and I go. Go see Dr. Ryan Ross. I get it. Not everyone loves a dentist, and heck, even a few of you out there are scared to death of these offices. Bad past experiences? Well, you ever had a bad haircut? How about a bad meal somewhere? You didn't stop getting your haircut, and you certainly didn't stop eating, so stop ignoring your teeth. Dr. Ross's gentle approach, calming demeanor, and office full of upbeat staff put your dental fears to rest. Conveniently located in a great little house on Marsh Street downtown, Dr. Ross's office exudes the highest level of professionalism, mixed with an atmosphere much like your own home. Look, nobody's in a rush here. It's not a get 'em in, get 'em out atmosphere. Every time I'm in Dr. Ross's office, it's like I'm the only guy that matters. No distractions, just full focus on my oral health. If you're interested in the highest quality in dental care and want to walk out of the office every time with a smile, call Dr. Ryan Ross today, 541-5800.
Puma Aquatics team offers year-round swim programming for novice, recreational, and competitive swimmers. For 16 years, Puma has developed some of the fastest swimmers on the Central Coast, as well as the nation. Puma has 3 convenient locations to choose from, providing programming for all of San Luis Obispo County. Puma offers swim assessments for new swimmers on Tuesdays and Thursdays at the Slow Kennedy Club, Atascadero Kennedy Club, and Arroyo Grande High School. For more information about Puma Aquatics, check out pumaswim.org. Join the Puma Pride and challenge yourself to reach new levels in your swimming. Puma Aquatics, where pride, passion, and persistence pay off.
You want to get fit? And I mean really fit? Fit for fun? Fit for looking good? Fit for life? It can happen for you at Athlon Fitness and Performance in San Luis Obispo. Athlon has a 4-week fitness fast start designed to get anyone back on track and moving like a champion quickly and effectively. For a limited time, you can start Athlon's 4-week fitness fast start for only $197. That's 4 weeks of personal training, nutritional guidance, movement rehabilitation, motivation, fun, and encouragement, all for just $197. Take your body and your athleticism to a new level. Go to athlonslow.com. That's ATHLONSLO.com to learn more about the 4-week Fitness Fast Start. It'll be the best decision you'll ever make.
We're back with Living the Run.
Welcome back to Living the Run. Stay tuned for the CJ Silas Show at 7 o'clock after us, 7 to 8. And then don't forget the Slow Late Show tonight, 10 to midnight.
If you get some time today, too, I don't know if you saw it, Rex. I believe Blues Baseball is having their big fireworks extravaganza tonight.
Hey, I tell you, not only did I see it, the traffic was big going over there. I think it's going to be a packed house. It is every year. In fact, that's where I'm headed after this, Paul.
Oh, you headed to the Blues
Headed
game?
over there. Something last year, I don't think we ever made it into the stadium. Kids are out at the park the whole time behind.
You didn't want to drop to $6, huh, or $8, whatever it is, Rex.
Well, I think we had the tickets, actually. I just don't think we ever got in. Kids were running around so hard out there, but good stuff. Hey, our next story here, I think, is a good story. And it's a good story because I wasn't fatigued. I wasn't tired. I was just heckling, Paul. But let me set up the stage. I'm driving to work on a Tuesday morning. Up ahead on 227, I see what I think is a husband and wife of two I know. Well, as I get close, I start to kind of veer my car over to the right to let them know that I'm coming. I wanted to wave and say hi. And
those were your intentions.
Those
right?
were my intentions. Well, I look and I see Chad, and Chad is he's not looking like he normally does. And let me tell you, this guy is as fit as a button. He is a guy that I told you did the Murph workout in like 28 minutes, which is, again, 1 mile, then 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, and 300 squats, and then another mile he did in 28 minutes. I've never seen anybody do it this fast. So this guy's fit as a button. I look at him. He can barely get his arms above his head. He's got a backpack on. His eyes look sunk into his back of the sockets, looks dehydrated and pretty pale. But I look at his wife. She's got this huge smile on her face, waves, gently, going, what is going on? So I hear the rest of the story. It's a good birthday story. We tried to do the birthday thing here on Living the Run. My story pales in comparison to this because I went 38 sets of 38 push-ups, which is nothing like what this guy did. Chad, explain why you looked so wrecked when I saw you there on 227.
Rex, you're killing me. I'm going to say, hey, love the show. Is this how you welcome all your guests?
He builds up. You can't build anything until you tear it down, right?
Chad was
right.
He was. Right. What were you going to say? You're going to say, hey, I was a long-time listener, but now I'm going to drop off.
Long-time listener, first-time caller, 62180. Yeah,
62180. Where's the bell? Good stuff.
Seriously, guys, love the show. I had a chance to catch up on a couple podcasts on the way down to San Diego this week, and I feel a little unworthy after listening to Tara and Scott and their 100-mile adventures. I've seen them out there. I've bumped into them on the trail, and I think that's part of what motivated me to get out there. So turned 40 last Tuesday, and 5 years ago had a friend of mine turn 40 in the area. You know him well, Scott Smith, the other owner of Arts. You had Eric on recently, and Scott's goal was to ride 10,000 feet of Madonna, which is 10 times up San Luis Mountain, on his birthday. So a bunch of us joined him in that effort, and that stuck in my head. So 5 years later, I turned 40 last week, and I started talking about it with a couple of people and said, hey, I think I'm going to go out and run 40. It was a bucket list item that turned into something real after I started opening my pie hole and talking about it with people, and it was this measure of accountability.
I always say you got to be careful what you say out loud.
Yeah, I tell you, that's what really did me in, is I started talking about it, and I started getting text messages and phone calls like, hey, are you really doing this? So, started out, so here's the plan. The plan was to go out and just click off 40 in as many trails as I could around really the rim of San Luis. So if you kind of think about San Luis with Johnson connecting to Irish and, Madonna, and then all the way over to Pauley and Stagecoach and all the things going on over there, looped a route together and had a couple guys just on rides that were already planned that came out and joined me for legs of it and little miles here and there and kept me going. And it was a blast. Definitely put myself in the pain locker, which was part of the plan. And it hurt, but it hurt so good.
You know, just to make you feel a little more worthy, you know, you did compare yourself to some ultramarathoners, but you got to remember Rex just had to call his wife at mile 13. So, you know, you could feel a little upset, but then you always, you know, just say, better than Rex.
Talking to Chad here on Living the Ride. He went 40 miles on his 40th birthday. What was the amount of climbing you ended up doing on that?
I did 7,300 feet of climbing in those 40 miles. So it was a lot.
So in all fairness, when Julie was looking fresh and you were looking gaunt, what mile were you on?
I was on mile 38 and a half, so I was just coming down the finishing stretch. I didn't know that Julie and the kids were going to meet me out there. They met me on the bottom of Cal Poly coming out of Grand. And that was cool. They were following my little dot on the phone, the Find My Phone app or whatever. And so, you know, I come running down Grand right after Cal Poly, and there they are. And so my oldest son, who's 14, jumped on his bike. And I think when you saw me, he was just coming back from a little water run. I had him get me an ice water at Starbucks so I could hydrate the core there in the back. But that was on the last 7 miles I had with Kyle, my boy, and in the last 3, Julie had dropped the other kids off and came running from the house, and so she did 3 out and 3 back with me. So that was a real unexpected joy to have her out there with me and finishing. And I saw you pull up. I'm like, oh boy, I know I'm going to get wrecked.
An emotional roller, unexpected joy of the family finishing to Rex, the peanut gallery, showing up to tell her, man, you look terrible.
Yeah.
Well,
let that down.
I tried to call you out last week, but you weren't listening to the show. But I know. Thanks for being a long-time listener. Always impressed by this kind of stuff. We can't wait to hear what happens at age 41.
Yeah, I was going to say is, you know, your friend did it, and then you had to one-up him. Now, what are you going to do to one-up yourself at 41?
I don't know. That's I'm not thinking about that till the back half.
You're not going to tell anybody until you know.
That's right.
You're going to be careful about opening the mouth.
You bet.
Well, I tell you, you know, Paul, this guy, Chad, always asks me, hey, why don't you come out and do a workout with me? Would you come out and do a workout? I haven't accepted yet because this is the kind of stuff he wants to do. This is crazy stuff. Hey, man, we appreciate it a ton, Chad. Hit me up, like I said, next time. I saw you run up my street the other day. Knock on my door. I'll do a few hill repeats with you.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Love the show.
Hey, thanks a ton. What a great guy. You know, Chad is a phenomenal athlete. He doesn't give himself that much credit, but he runs fast. He's a very fast runner. He gets out there, you know, can run 10 miles, 15 miles at a sub 6-ish type pace. He can be very fast, but going out 40 is a pretty big deal.
10 miles at sub 6 pace?
Yeah, he's fast.
Oh.
Yeah, he's
I'm thinking if I could do 1 mile at sub 6 pace right now, that would be almost impossible.
Hey, that's good stuff. Hey, we got to take a quick break. Keep us on track here, Paul Terek, and I kind of lost it last week. Wasn't on track real good. Thank you to CJ Silas. I tell you, her show's next, 7 to 8 o'clock here on ESPN 1280 Ticket. Left the microphones on, Paul Terek, and that's why I was glad you weren't here. Because
I would have had you turn them off. That's the first thing I look at.
Yeah, whatever. Hey, stick with us. More good stuff here on Living the Run, ESPN 1280, The Ticket.
You're listening to Living the Run on ESPN Radio 1280, The Ticket.
Hey guys, Paul Terek from Living the Run here. As a former Olympian, there is only one place myself and fellow athletes go when it comes to chiropractic care on the Central Coast. With 4 chiropractors in the clinic, Slow Wellness Center is the largest, most comprehensive group of docs in San Luis Obispo County. I began seeing Dr. Rex Stevens back in 2005 for spinal adjustments to help maximize my performance, minimize my injury, and allow me to compete at my best. When the difference between a win and a loss can be just a fraction of an inch, perfect alignment in all joints is essential. One of the great things about the team at Slow Wellness is no matter where I had an issue, whether it was my spine, my foot, knee, wrist, or shoulder, they were always able to help. This team, made up of Dr. Rex and Molly Stevens, Dr. Sachs, and Dr. Bandolo, is sure to help you reach your health and fitness goals too. If it's chiropractic care you need, go where I go, Slow Wellness Center. Check them out at slowwellness.com or call 543-8688.
Folks, when it comes to the health of my teeth, I will not compromise, and neither should you. It's time you go where my wife and I go. Go see Dr. Ryan Ross. I get it. Not everyone loves a dentist, and heck, even a few of you out there are scared to death of these offices. Bad past experiences? Well, you ever had a bad haircut? How about a bad meal somewhere? You didn't stop getting your haircut, and you certainly didn't stop eating, so stop ignoring your teeth. Dr. Ross's gentle approach, calming demeanor, and office full of upbeat staff puts your dental fears to rest. Conveniently located in a great little house on Marsh Street downtown, Dr. Ross's office exudes the highest level of professionalism, mixed with an atmosphere much like your own home. Look, nobody's in a rush here. It's not a get 'em in, get 'em out atmosphere. Every time I'm in Dr. Ross's office, it's like I'm the only guy that matters. No distractions, just full focus on my oral health. If you're interested in the highest quality in dental care and want to walk out of the office every time with a smile, call Dr. Ryan Ross today, 541-5800.
Puma Aquatics team offers year-round swim programming for novice, recreational, and competitive swimmers. For 16 years, Puma has developed some of the fastest swimmers on the Central Coast, as well as the nation. Puma has 3 convenient locations to choose from, providing programming for all of San Luis Obispo County. Puma offers swim assessments for new swimmers on Tuesdays and Thursdays at the SLO Kennedy Club, Atascadero Kennedy Club, and Arroyo Grande High School. For more information about Puma Aquatics, check out pumaswim.org. Join the Puma Pride and challenge yourself to reach new levels in your swimming. Puma Aquatics, where pride, passion, and persistence pay off.
You want to get fit? And I mean really fit? Fit for fun? Fit for looking good? Fit for life? It can happen for you at Athlon Fitness and Performance in San Luis Obispo. Athlon has a 4-week fitness fast start designed to get anyone back on track and moving like a champion quickly and effectively. For a limited time, you can start Athlon's 4-week fitness fast start for only $197. That's 4 weeks of personal training, nutritional guidance, movement rehabilitation, motivation, fun, and encouragement, all for just $197. Take your body and your athleticism to a new level. Go to athlonslo.com. That's ATHLONSLO.com to learn more about the 4-week fitness fast start. It'll be the best decision you'll ever make.
We're back with Living the Run.
Oh, welcome back to Living the Run. Good interview with Chad. Inspiration to me, inspiration to all you living the run. I love the birthday thing. My partner, Sandy Sachs, there at Slow Wellness Center, he did a good one this year, too, 42. He went 42 minutes of swimming, 42 minutes of cycling, 42 minutes of running back to back to back. Good stuff. Always pushing the elements. And the thing, I didn't mention about Chad, which makes him also very impressive. And again, it's that whole don't do as I say, do as I do. He's got 4 kids and a wife. And all 4 kids into fitness, into athletics. And it's not because he's telling them to do it. It's because they see dad out there. They see mom out there grinding the pavement, doing different things, keeping variety, and realizing they got one body and they're maximizing it. And, shout out to Chad and his family. He's a leader and good guy here, and thankful for him as a Living the Run fan.
Yeah, I like the fact that he said, I was kind of inspired by some of your other guests, so he came up with something a little creative and said, this is what I'm going to do. And that's all we're looking to do here is just inspire people to do things that are outside of what they normally think of.
No question. Our next guest does that all the time. We told you that Ryan Joyner was going to join us from Athlon Elite. And, Ryan, we talk about this a lot on holiday time. People at the holidays often miss their workouts and they regret it. I rarely have ever, or actually I've never heard anybody that says, hey, I got that workout on the holiday and I wish I hadn't. So give people a workout they can do, something simple that just about anybody could do that would make them feel good and say, hey, I'm glad I put that in today, and now I can move on to the parties and the family gatherings and the fun.
Sure thing. Yeah, well, I've talked about it before on the show, and it's a key. It's a key to weight loss and keeping the body fat down, and that is, as we say in Athlon, you have to earn your carbs. So, the body knows how to deal with that carbohydrate, with the sugars, much, much better when it is post-workout. When you've done some work, you've depleted the liver of some glycogen, sugar storage, you've depleted the muscles of sugar storage, and so now the body has a place to put that. Hormonally, it's going to handle it better, all the above. So it's always a good idea to go out and earn your carbs first. So it doesn't take a lot, but of course, the more the better, right? And at least to a certain level. And my all-time favorite go-to on a morning like tomorrow morning when you're going to get up and get prepped, maybe hopefully go to a parade or go to the beach and have a full day on the beach, is blackjack. Now, have we talked about blackjack before?
No blackjack on this show, I don't think, Paul, outside of the gambling realm, and I don't think we've really talked about gambling either on Living the Run.
I think we've missed both of those points.
Missed both those topics. Blackjack, tell us about it.
All right, so perfect. Blackjack. Got to add up to 21. You start out with 20 squats, 20 body weight squats, and you want to go all the way down, full motion. Focus on good rhythm of your hips and your knees, all the way down, back up, 20 reps. Drop down, you do 1 push-up, adding up to 21. Then you do 19 squats. You drop down, you do 2 push-ups, adding up to 21. Then you do 18 and 3, 17 and 4, 16 and 5, all the way back around until you finish, which is 1 squat and 20 push-ups.
Simple, so simple, but that's good. You keep that moving, you'll get aerobically a little action going there too.
Oh, massive aerobic. I'd say, definitely kind of capacity-oriented and aerobic, but you're creating a heart rate through the whole time. And then what I was going to say is after you've done that, and that's no short order. That's 210 push-ups, 210 squats, all in about 5 minutes if you are cranking through it, So depending on a person's level, they can skip by 2s, they can skip by 3s, maybe even skip by 4s. Try to do the full motion rather than cutting yourself short. And then once you're done, this is when the body's really primed to start burning fat and really kind of hormonally kick into gear. Go out for a walk. Go out for a short run. So after you've done this kind of 5 to 10 minute anaerobic strength, nonstop movement, go for a 15-minute walk or a 15-minute run to finish it up. It'll help you flush the lactic acid through your system. It'll help you burn even more fat because the body's ready to go, and then you are primed, ready to go have some nitrates and some carbohydrates.
Don't tell Virginia you get the nitrate freeze.
Don't forget to add the white bread to that.
Yeah, and some white bread, and and wave an American flag while you're at it, and shoot off a couple illegal fireworks into the beach.
Well,
truly living the run, Ryan.
The thing about that though, is you're done, like he said, you're done with that workout 8-10 minutes, including your short jog. Even, I mean, you get your blackjack in. Walk, jog, or whatever, 10-15 minutes later, you're totally done before you even have a chance to convince yourself you don't want to do it. And I think we've talked about this before. When you finish a workout like that, no one has ever said, oh, I really wish I didn't do that. Everybody says, I'm glad I did that workout.
Hey, that's a great workout, Ryan. Appreciate that one. We're going to put that one up on the web, too. We'll put that on for people for tomorrow. But I hadn't heard of the blackjack. Clever way of remembering. No one's going to forget that. And like you said, you can modify it to your fitness level. Slower, faster, modified push-ups, modified squats. So many ways to do that. No equipment necessary. Great workout.
You can do it in your hotel room. You can do it wherever you travel. You can never go without blackjack.
I love that. Good stuff, Ryan. As always, thanks so much. Ryan Joyner, Athlon Elite. Join us every week. We'll talk to you next Wednesday.
Sounds great. Thanks. Have a good 4th.
Hey, happy 4th. That's another good one, Paul.
I was thinking the only person that'd be bad for is like a recovering gambling addict. And that he might be like, oh, that sounds like a great. Oh, and he's thinking blackjack. I wish I could just, maybe just one game. One hand.
Hey, let's take one more break. We're going to come back. After the break, I got compliments for Paul Terek, too. I usually give Paul a hard time. I'm not complimenting him because he got here today, but compliments on how Paul lives the run, how he takes care of himself, a little fitness regime. And if everybody followed what Paul is doing along those lines, they would hit some of those wellness goals as well. So compliments for Paul Terek after the break.
This is legendary and epic. Everybody stay tuned.
ESPN 1280 The Ticket. You're listening to Living the Run.
You're listening to Living the Run on ESPN Radio 1280 The Ticket.
Hey guys, Paul Terek from Living the Run here. As a former Olympian, there is only one place myself and fellow athletes go when it comes to chiropractic care on the Central Coast. With 4 chiropractors in the clinic, Slow Wellness Center is the largest, most comprehensive group of docs in San Luis Obispo County. I began seeing Dr. Rex Stevens back in 2005 for spinal adjustments to help maximize my performance, minimize my injury, and allow me to compete at my best. When the difference between a win and a loss can be just a fraction of an inch, perfect alignment in all joints is essential. One of the great things about the team at Slow Wellness is no matter where I had an issue, whether it was my spine, my foot, knee, wrist, or shoulder, they were always able to help. This team, made up of Dr. Rex and Molly Stevens, Dr. Sachs, and Dr. Bandolo, is sure to help you reach your health and fitness goals too. If it's chiropractic care you need, go where I go, Slow Wellness Center. Check them out at slowwellness.com or call 543-8688.
Folks, when it comes to the health of my teeth, I will not compromise, and neither should you. It's time you go where my wife and I go. Go see Dr. Ryan Ross. I get it. Not everyone loves a dentist, and heck, even a few of you out there are scared to death of these offices. Bad past experiences? Well, you ever had a bad haircut? How about a bad meal somewhere? You didn't stop getting your haircut, and you certainly didn't stop eating, so stop ignoring your teeth. Dr. Ross's gentle approach, calming demeanor, and office full of upbeat staff put your dental fears to rest. Conveniently located in a great little house on Marsh Street downtown, Dr. Ross's office exudes the highest level of professionalism, mixed with an atmosphere much like your own home. Look, nobody's in a rush here. It's not a get 'em in, get 'em out atmosphere. Every time I'm in Dr. Ross's office, it's like I'm the only guy that matters. No distractions, just full focus on my oral health. If you're interested in the highest quality in dental care and want to walk out of the office every time with a smile, call Dr. Ryan Ross today, 541-5800.
Puma Aquatics team offers year-round swim programming for novice, recreational, and competitive swimmers. For 16 years, Puma has developed some of the fastest swimmers on the Central Coast, as well as the nation. Puma has 3 convenient locations to choose from, providing programming for all of San Luis Obispo County. Puma offers swim assessments for new swimmers on Tuesdays and Thursdays at the Slow Kennedy Club, Atascadero Kennedy Club, and Arroyo Grande High School. For more information about Puma Aquatics, check out pumaswim.org. Join the Puma Pride and challenge yourself to reach new levels in your swimming. Puma Aquatics, where pride, passion, and persistence pay off.
You want to get fit? And I mean really fit? Fit for fun? Fit for looking good? Fit for life? It can happen for you at Athlon Fitness and Performance in San Luis Obispo. Athlon has a 4-week fitness fast start designed to get anyone back on track and moving like a champion quickly and effectively. For a limited time, you can start Athlon's 4-week fitness fast start for only $197. That's 4 weeks of personal training, nutritional guidance, movement rehabilitation, motivation, fun, and encouragement, all for just $197. Take your body and your athleticism to a new level. Go to athlonslow.com. That's ATHLONSLO.com to learn more about the 4-week fitness fast start. It'll be the best decision you'll ever make.
We're back with Living the Run.
A great show tonight, Paul. Enjoying our time. Jordan Hasay next week. You can be here next week. You going to make 2 weeks in a row?
I'll make 2 weeks in a row. I'm going to go for a record.
I love it. Before I get to the compliments for you, let's just take it back. Those who haven't heard any of the show today, you're just tuning in now. Check us out at livingtherun.com or Facebook/livingtherun. We'll put the podcast up tomorrow. Good interview with Chad Thule. Inspiring guy, inspiring family leader, inspiring dad. Put 40 miles together, 7,500 feet of climbing on his 40th birthday last week, and good guy. Ryan Joyner gave us the blackjack workout. Always fun, can do anywhere. Love those types of workouts, and Virginia is always inspiring with her food. Find her at vertfoods.com. You know, I saw you the other day in the clinic, Paul, and one thing that struck me is something you said. You know, you came in and you get this concept that when you're aligned and the mechanics are right, the body has the best chance to work. And the reality is that is the truth. But what you said, I thought, was really great, that people need to grasp a little bit more in a society now that has 90% of its healthcare dollars are spent on what they call lifestyle-related conditions, meaning that if you change your lifestyle, you adapt a little bit, you have a chance to make the condition go away. And you said to me, you said, hey, get me back in line. I'll do whatever it takes to massage the area, exercise the area, balance the area. I'll do my part. And I think that's the thing that's missing a little bit in healthcare is that there's not enough of that. There's this fix me mentality. Get me the pill, get me the adjustment, get me the whatever that is going to fix me, but not understanding that it's a mutual relationship complementing one another, and that you got to do some work. You do that as well as anybody, and I appreciate that from you.
Well, I appreciate that, man. I learned from you, not to make this a compliment fest here, but I think you said something really big there, and unfortunately, it is a characteristic of our society. We are reactionary. We're reactive. We're not proactive. I always go back to this analogy. Some guys I know will limp around for 5, 6, 7 years. Oh, my shoulders bother me, my knees been bothering me, my hips been bothering me. Well, have you seen a chiropractor? Well, no, it's like $100. I got to go. And they'll limp around. It's like the quality of life is terrible. But, their car makes a funny noise and they think it's going to cost them $500 at the shop, and they're like driving it right in there. And it's like, dude, your car costs, it's a car. I love cars. I think I love cars more than anybody else, right?
You may.
I may. But dude, they're just cars, and people will rush to take care of those, but they won't take care of themselves. And it's frustrating because they want to wait until basically they can't live their life like they want to, until basically their body is saying, no, I won't lift my arm that way, or I won't lift that weight this way, before they finally begrudgingly go and say, all right, fine, doc, fix me. And sometimes they've waited too long, and now they may have some actual structural damage. But a lot of times, I've seen people that, have, like I said, had shoulder injuries for a year or so. It's like, dude, just go see Rex. Go see this guy. Go see this person. Have them just get you lined up. Make sure your whole body's lined up, and make sure all your muscles are firing properly. And then see if there's a problem. And it's like 3 weeks later, I see them. They're like, oh, yeah, I feel great. And it's like, dude, a year ago you could have felt great. It doesn't take much. That's what I don't get, is it doesn't take much, just to go see somebody. And you can't just go see. I know some people have had bad experience with chiropractors, or bad experience with massage therapists, or bad experience with doctors, and they just write it off. No, I don't want to see anybody else. You have one body. That's it. You get one. And how many people do we know that can tell you the stats of all Major League Baseball, how the baseball works, or how football works, or how offenses work, or how the NBA is played, or all this other? They can tell you all this, but when you're like, well, if I eat a carbohydrate and then I act, and then I go and do something active, how does that work in my body? What happens? Walk me through beginning to end. And people are like, well, that's a mystery. The body's like a magic box to people.
It is. It's an interesting thing. I got to talk to somebody today about their creatine levels a little bit, and associating some of their lifestyle habits to why their blood work was showing higher creatine levels, et cetera. Kind of started to draw the parallel that, hey, look, it's not just about your kidneys. Understand that there's a relationship with other end organs, other systems. It was a bizarre thing. And no, it wasn't, hey, you're taking too much creatine.
I was just going to say, was it like, are you taking a creatine supplement? Yes, I am. Oh, well, I think we've pinpointed it.
But the more the relationship of what's happening in the lifestyle, that other things symptomatically may not be showing up yet, but they are also under stress along the way. And you're right. I mean, it's a bizarre deal why it's okay to be ignorant about your body. But when it comes to your car or what have you, no problem. We run the commercial. Ryan Ross, dentist, on here, and you mentioned trying to get Ryan. We got to lure Ryan on here because I talked in our commercial for him is people have had bad experiences with the dentist. I hear this all the time. I say, so what? Just find one that you don't have a bad experience with. It's not all like that.
What if your first girlfriend is terrible? I mean, it's not like you don't ever date again.
It's a bizarre rationale. I just don't get it.
I turned left one time when I was 16, got into an accident. I make only right turns now. If you make 3 right turns, that's like turning left. So I get there.
Oh, that's amazing stuff. Hey, last week you missed it. We had the Slow Roo kids on. Good stuff. I just wanted to send out an apology. Number one, things got kind of bad in the studio, I guess. And
so when I miss the show, things don't run fluidly.
They don't run smoothly without the Olympian Paul Terek in here for sure. No, I guess something was wrong with the recording equipment, so we weren't able to get the podcast up. But
poor craftsman blames his tools.
Yeah, well, remember Thomas Rice? He came in year ago or so. He's an ultra marathoner. He brought his son in. Were you here for that?
Yeah.
Dylan was in studio.
Yeah.
Cute kid. He was in studio again with us. This time his brother, 2 other kids from Slow Roo, as well as their coach Jim. And good interview. And so I just want to say, hey, sorry guys, we didn't get the podcast up, but thanks so much for coming in. And then also to Patty Miller and her sons, three boys, Patrick, Timothy, and Joseph. Good kids. They're setting up things for the Boston Marathon. We got to run July 13th. I guess it's next week, right? happening at Meadow Park there on, what is that, South Street? Meadow Park on South Street.
Yeah.
They're starting it there. So anyway, get involved with those guys. Check them out. It's a run for Boston. Slow for Boston. You can look that up on Google and find those guys. And again, thanks to them for coming in. Good fundraiser. She was in, again, another elite athlete, Paul, another one that came in and said, hey, I finished 30, 40 minutes before the bombing went. And so she, again, very fast. Her boys look very fast and fit. But the reality is they spiritually get it. It's not about physically running faster or going out and racing hard, but it's about raising money and taking a bad and turning it into a good. And so I thank the Millers for that. They were great guests last week.
Yeah, that's that was one thing that really hit home for me was just, I knew so many athletes in track and field, and I've been in that scenario where you finish and you just kind of hang around, whether it's at a marathon watching somebody finish or whether it's at a track meet or whatever. To know that that exuberance or that joy at the end of the race, and that it really is just a celebration of the whole accomplishment, and for it to be marred like that, it's a great thing that they're turning it into a positive.
Yeah, no question. Tips and takeaways from tonight's show, Paul Terek.
We heckled him about it, but I think the big takeaway for me is if you're going to do something and your ego is as big as the moon, tell your friends. They're going to hold you to it. Now, I'm serious. You got to tell them, because if you don't ever tell them, then you might just back out of it. So the sooner you can tell people, get it on a calendar, schedule a race, pay your entry fee, you're going to do it. You're going to stick to it.
I love that. Chad was talking about that. I thought that was kind of funny. He really started to get heckled, it sounded like. Text messages, emails saying, hey, man, you going to do this 40 on your 40th? And
As a man to another man, when your friends make fun of you, you will do anything just to spite them.
Tips and takeaways again. I like it. Earn your carbs. Earn your carbs is such a nice little phrase. I saw somebody again today. Triglycerides flying sky high off the blood work, and again, they're not earning their carbs. Not working out, eating tons of grains, eating tons of processed carbohydrates, messing with their blood sugars, messing with the triglycerides. So earn your carbs. Take a look at this blackjack workout. Again, got to add up to 21. Start with 20 squats. Go to 1 push-up, 19 squats, 2, 18, 3, 17, 4, and modify it how you will. But use that workout. Great one for the 4th of July.
Yeah, I love that saying, earn your carbs. I've never heard that before, but I love the saying, we live in this credit society where we always enjoy now and then pay later, right? And maybe we need to get back to this earning your, pay up front, pay up front.
Hey, that'd be changing the politicians' way, Paul Terek. I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon. Hey, as always, thanks for listening to the show. Coming up next, CJ Silas here from 7 to 8. And then don't forget the Slow Late Show from 10 to midnight. As always, thanks to our guests, Chad Thule, Virginia Merrim of Vert Foods, and Ryan Joyner of Athlon Elite. Next week, Jordan Hasay, now graduate at University of Oregon, joins us right here on Living the Run.